everybody. Oh, good evening, I guess. It's evening. Good night, even. Right. Mm, I'm forgetting. US and India, 9 hours away, 9.5. Right, but we made it. So today is kind of that the request was to continue with the hymn of the Rig Veda, the first hymn, which is, as I think, is the key, yes, um, to the whole Vedic vision. Okay, you can see this, the hymn, the first hymn of the Rig Veda, and you can see that all the words, you all read Devanagari, yes? Most probably. All of them, 5 start with Agnim, Agnih, Agnina, Agne, Agne, and Agnih again. And then we have 4 verses which do not start with Agni at all. So if I will read the whole mantra, let me start with, since we didn't start with a minute of silence, half an hour of preparation to join, I will start with reading this hymn. Om Agnimile Purohitam Yajnasya Devam Ritvijam Hotaram Ratnadhatamam Agnif Purve Birshibhiridio Nutanairuta Sadevang Ehavakshati Agnina Rahimashnavad Poshameva dive dive yashasam virabhattamam agneyam yajnamadvaram vishvataf paribhurasi saideveshu gacchati agnirhota kavikratu satyashchitrashravastamaha devo devebhiragamat Yadangadaashushe tvamagne bhadram karishyasi tavetat satyamangiraha uputvagne dive dive doshavastardhiya vayam namo bharanta emasi Rajan tam advaranam gopamritasya dedivim vardhamanam svedame sanafpiteva sunavegne supayano bhava sachasvana svastaye om. All right, so the hymn goes in this way. Agnimile, I seek the divine flame, Agni, with adoration. That's Sri Aurobindo's translation, to seek with adoration. Purohitam, the one who is set in front of our journey. Yajnasya Devam, the one who is the God or the luminous being of our transformational process. It is that very light of our transformation. Ritvijam, the one who makes this process in accordance with proper time. Ritu Ijam, Ij, sacrificing according to the Ritu, to the season, knowing the procedure, the order. Hotaram, Ratnadhatamam, the summoner of the gods, Hotaram, and Ratnadhatamam, the one who establishes the greatest riches. So here in one line, actually, we have all the major faculties or functions of Agni as the one who is a traveler, the one who is rising from below our nature, who is hidden, that hidden source divine within us, and rising upward, bringing us upward to heaven. Agni wants to reach to heaven, to Surya, and unite with Surya. So there are 3 components in Agni. One is Surya, other is Vayu, and third is Agni. Agni is the essence of earth, Surya is the essence of heaven, and Vayu is in between, the essence of fire in between, that electricity between heaven and earth. Yeah? So we have three fires, and when they are united, the sacrifice is done, as it were. So it means that we will unite the energies and consciousness of three levels, of the mind, vital, and body, or of our heaven, space in between heaven and earth. So the first line is giving us the outline of the whole hymn. And when we look how it is being distributed as a journey, this I noticed many years back, and I was surprised because this hymn was given to me in the university as my, how to say, as my student work for a year. What do you have it? How do you call it? At the end of the year, you have to present something, some research. And in the first year, I took this hymn and I thought, why should I take such a obvious hymn? I have to take something more complicated. But then when I looked into it, I saw the whole complication. Um, First of all, let me open my other file, which will be with translation. Maybe it will help you. So this is one. So the first verse is this definition. Okay, here it is. So the first verse is really loaded, and there's much to say about it, and especially what is Agni, from what root it is produced. Sri Aurobindo speaks about that it may be produced from lost root Ag, which means to move in this, yes, in the zigzag fashion. And I kind of quote here from Savitri that Sri Aurobindo is using the same imagery. Yes, you can see this too must now be overpassed and left all, as all must be until the highest is gained. That is the traveling of Agni, of the pilgrimage of Agni, in whom the world and self grow true and one, uniting heaven, earth, and space in between. Till that is reached, our journey cannot cease. Always a nameless goal beckons beyond. Always always ascends the zigzag of the gods, and upward points the spirit's climbing fire. It's totally, as you see, Rig Vedic. And the second verse starts this journey, and it is quite amazing. Now, if you look into it, read Agnif purvebhih rishibhih idiyo nutana ruta sadhevang ehavakshati. Sri Aurobindo's translation: the flame adorable by the ancient sages is adorable too by the new. He brings here the gods. The flame of the divine will is to be welcomed with adoration, as by the ancient rishis, so by the new. For he alone can bring here into the earthly mortal life of man the shining powers of the gods, which illumine and transform it into the immortal life. So when we speak about the gods, these are the faculties of the divine. Yes? And the fire is actually bringing them down into our lower hemisphere. What is happening here? You can see Sadevaneha Vakshati. May he bring here the gods. Sri Aurobindo translates brings here the gods. He doesn't want it to be may he bring, like a wish of some kind. He already asserts that he brings. Yes, he does. But this is also subjunctive and Vakshati from root Vach, which can be translated also as he may bring here the gods.
Vladimir, bring here means inside oneself or onto the earth. It is like
Onto the, yes, we are here on earth, And this is the whole point. Very interesting. So we speak, bring here the gods. We're here. Yeah. Here means here I am on earth in this material body, invoking that greater power to bring all these divine faculties and functions into me on earth, into material frame, into material consciousness. So it is at the same time personal and impersonal, because I am here. I am not somewhere without the body calling Agni to come here. So this is the beginning of journey. We see the point where we're starting our ascension. So he who is adored or should be adored by the ancient and modern rishis should bring here the gods, earth. This is our beginning. So now we have to move into, as Chandogya gives us a vision in a very interesting way. So we have the earth, then we have the essence of earth is fire, then we have Vayu as the essence of Antariksha, then we have Surya as the essence of heaven, and then we have heaven. So heaven and earth are two firmaments which are standing on their own, and they are connected through these three fires. So our fire has to move from the earthly realm to the heavenly realm and come back with kind of answer of heaven. So if we look, so we start from the earth here. Um, I skip all those notes. It's no problem. I will send you the file if you want to read the notes. They are quite interesting to know things about Sanskrit, especially. So once he starts this journey on earth, he should bring here the gods. We call him, we ask him, we want him to do this work for us. And then there is a next one, Agnina Rayimashnavat. One should, or by the flame one enjoys a treasure, Rayim, that verily increases day by day, Poshameva Dive Dive, glorious Yashasam, most full of hero power, Viravattamam. Again, Ashnavat um, is subjunctive and can be translated as one enjoys, or one can translate it one should enjoy. And I'm taking the should into account. It is by the guidance of the divine will that one should find and enjoy the luminous treasures of the divine existence, which is in by day, being full of the divine greatness and power, most capable to conquer and master the lower states of consciousness. I am adding, of course, lower states of consciousness with power and glory, Yashasam Viravattamam, and growth, Posham Eva, Dive Dive, every day by day, the growth has to be achieved, Ashnavat, and the glory and the luminous consciousness, Raim, or wealth, by Agni only. One can achieve the wealth in many different ways, but the insistence here is that by Agni you must do it, by this aspiration, by the deepest and purest divine aspiration within ourselves, we should realize or achieve wealth and growth, and not by other means, not with the help of other creatures and all other manipulations in consciousness which do not generate this aspiration towards the divine. And it's a very powerful. And in that sense, we are in the Agni realm. I give here etymology, which is also interesting. You will read it for yourself. And then from the realm of Agni, we are entering the realm of Vayu, or the realm of prana. Yeah? We are already hanging in between heaven and earth. Agneyam yajnamadvaram vishvatav paribhurasi saideveshu gacchati. O flame, the pilgrim sacrifice, yajnam advaram. It's always on the move, always changing. On every side, paribhurasi, of which thou art, with the environing being. That truly goes among the gods. I will read my interpretation of fire of the divine will. It is that offering on the path of our growth which you fully accept, taking it from all the sides. And this is from all the sides is a very important issue here. And Vayu is that which is embracing the offering from all the sides, because there is no bottom and no top anymore. There is no earth below or heaven above. There is a space everywhere. So that alone is ready to be transmuted and uplifted to the divine powers from above. What is interesting here is psychologically, only when the offering is made in a complete way, where there is no more left any gap, which may, how to say, tie us up to some selfish perception of ourselves, that the offering is going to the gods, is becoming transformed. Um, okay, so he moves to the realm of Yajnamadvaram, of constant moving forward. He's hanging in the air. That's I mean, offering. And fire as Vayu takes it from all sides as prana. And that indeed, which is totally taken by our life force as Agni, um, as the divine will on the vital level, definitely goes to heaven, to gods. So next one. Agni hota kavikratuh satyah chitrashravastamah devo devebhir agamat. I split the words. Satyash chitrashravastamah. So Agni, he is the hotar. Now we are arriving at the sun. He is kavikratuh, the one who is the seer will, as Sri Aurobindo translates. Satya, he is true finally. Chitrashravastamah, and most and full of richly varied listenings or inspired knowledge. He's um, all the meanings, all the meaningful and comprehensive relations are revealed there in the most rich and conscious fashion. Chitrashravastamah, that is the term. May he come a god with the gods. And you can see that the whole diction changed. Now he has to come, God with gods. Before he had to bring here the gods before his journey. Now he is there and he is the God and he has to come with the gods. So we reached the top. The flame of the divine will initiates all the changes here, for he is the summoner of the gods, whose willpower is that of the seer poet, and true to his call, and capable of comprehending deeper meanings, as Chitrashravastama, or luminous God, come here together with gods. So now he is capable to bring all the divine powers, because when he reaches to Surya, Surya is actually the representative of supramental consciousness, and all the gods, all the divine powers can be engaged. So yet, and then we have a shift. We reached the firmament of heaven. And from now on, from this level, we have to jump down or how to say, plunged down, or maybe descent, the proper word. Yadanga dashu agne bhadram karishyasi tavetat satyam angirach. O flame, the happy good, or the happy good, it's bhadram, something blissful, the bliss which thou shalt create, which you should create for us, for the giver of himself, who surrenders to you, is that truth and verily thine. It is your truth. Yeah? Or divine will, whatever good you decide to do for the giver or for the sacrificer, it is indeed that truth of yours, or Agni, or Angiras. And this is an amazing thing, because here we can see that it is his decision, whatever the decision he will be doing, it is his truth. We may invoke for something or want some change, and he may give us something else, and that would be the right thing for us. So this definition that it is your truth, it is yours because it is Satyam, and Satyam is from root as, that which is, or of that being, of that firmament, and that will be coming down to us. So the whole reverse is taking place. I will come to it again. I'm just going through the hymn once for us to see these elements, and then I will overview the ascent and descent. So now from this we are coming to again to the sun, from the firmament heaven, from this beyond we are arriving again at the sun, because we will be descending and illumining this truth out. Upatvagne dive dive doshavaستردhiyavayam namo bharanta emasi. To thee, O flame, we day by day in the night and in the light come carrying by our thought the obeisance. Obeisance. Yeah. Day by day after day, in a deep contemplation, we approach you, O flame of the divine will, and bring you the lumina of darkness, our surrender. Now, the Doshava star is Vastri, is actually the epithet of the sun, who is illumining day by day our darkness by rising. And we by Dhi, by higher mind, Dhi is always higher mind, concentration, Dhi yo yonav prachodayat, that Savitar who promotes our Dhis, our higher thoughts or meditations. We come to you with surrender. We approach you with surrender in our higher concentrations. And now we are moving to the middle realm of prana. Rajantam advaranam gopam hritasya divim vardhamanam suvedame. To thee, who reignest over our pilgrim sacrifices, and you remember he was embracing from all the sides, that goes to God's. Now he reigns here. He is no more embracing and passing it to God's. He is already in full power, shining here, ruling here, reigns over this pilgrim sacrifice, luminous guardian of the truth, of the dynamic truth which manifests the end in this lower hemisphere, increasing in thy own home. Now this pranic world, Antariksha, becomes his own home. And my interpretation, to you who is shining royally at the march of our pilgrimage, who is the protector of the light for us, who constantly illumines in us the truth and always grows in our own home. And finally, we reach to Agni, where we started our journey from. And that is Sanahpiteva Sunave Agne Supaya no Bhava Sachasvana Soastaye. Therefore, be easy of access to us as a father unto his son. Cling to us for our happy state. As the father to the son, O flame of the divine will, be easy approachable and accompany us in the journey to our well-being. Now the loop came down. We came to earth. Here there are, you will notes which are maybe useful. They are definitely useful to read. But here I want to again come back to this journey and to show you in dynamic sense, because now I just went verse by verse to show you how what composition is about. But now I will just split these into portions. So the definition of Agni is given in the first line. We'll read this. Agni, I seek Agni with adoration, who is put in front, the Lord of our transformation sacrifice, who knows how to do it, the transformation in time, who is bringing here the divine powers into action, in who bestows upon us the greatest wealth. Now, if you combine everything in your consciousness, all these definitions, you get immediately the full picture of the whole Rig Veda, by the way. Everything what is to happen in the Rig Veda, it's all about this journey of the soul, of the Yajamana, who is constantly aspiring and constantly looking for this change of one's own nature and the nature around us, the whole world. So the ascent is described in the next 4 verses. These are the ascent. So the first verse, we have an indication of the sacrificial sport, Sadevan Eha Vakshati, A Iha Vakshati, on earth. And the work Agni must do, he should bring here the gods. Sorry, it's about double time. He should bring here the gods. That means he should travel to heaven and bring from there the gods down here. And you will notice that this down, that descent is described mainly, or I would say even only, in the Rig Veda. When we speak about change of consciousness or Vedic yoga, let us say, yoga of Vedic rishis, it is always connected with ascension as offering, as a calling, and the descent as answer. And you will see immediately how it fits perfectly for integral yoga, because it's just the basis of integral yoga. We all depend on this descent from above. We all invoke that descent from above. Yeah? And these are the godheads, and all these godheads which descend, these are the faculties of the Divine Mother, Aditi, Adityas, and all other godheads. Yeah? They are all her children or her functions. And some of them, as Sri Aurobindo would be describing, descending from above in the form of peace or bliss or light. We always have different experiences or presence, very dense and powerful presence, which can decide everything within ourselves. So we all depend on that descent. So if we have that flame kindled within us, which is constantly aspiring to heavens, then from heavens we have this descent of these godheads or the faculties of the Divine Mother, who are transforming our being, our consciousness, our mind, our vital, even our physical. And that is the foundation of integral yoga. And you will not find anywhere else in post-Vedic literature, neither in Upanishads, nor in the Gita. Even in Tantra, you will have a Kundalini ascent. You will not have descent of the Maha Kundalini from above. So only in the Veda, it is a constant topic. That's what I wanted. I wanted to make a parallel with the integral yoga for you to see. So the ascent is in 4 stages. First, bring here the gods. Then we have a verse indicating the state of Agni, that only with Agni, with the help of aspiration, we have to achieve and enjoy our growing consciousness, growth day by day. And with the help of Agni, that it is by him that one should reach and enjoy the wealth of spiritual realization, and not by other means. And maybe there is no other means to arrive at spiritual wealth. It is only by Agni one can do it, by aspiring to get that wealth. By aspiration, by calling, we can receive the answer. Otherwise, answer would not come. If we would not call by Agni, by our true aspiration, the answer would not come. It doesn't need to come. It is not obliged to come. It's not a mechanical, some kind of, evolution which is happening in spite of us. No, there has to be an aspiration. There has to be a calling from within. Then, in the next verse, we have an indication of Agni moving into the space between heaven and earth, Antariksham, where he takes the form of Vayu, the pilgrim sacrifice, the movement, or Agni, the pilgrim sacrifice or Agni, which you surround from all the sides, indicating Vayu, is indeed going to the gods. It reminds me of the statement by Sri Aurobindo where he says that the fruit or the result of this yoga or the aim of this yoga cannot be realized or achieved if we have any other smallest degree aim or wish to realize something else. It has to be full-hearted, absolutely concentrated on it. The aim of this realization or this higher realization cannot be achieved if we have some other aims or goals or objectives in our life. Can you imagine? Only one has to be there. Only the divine all the time. Now, this reminds me of this statement. When you embrace from all the sides, you take this offering, and there is no gap, there is no connection to the ordinary life anywhere, ordinary objectives, ordinary wishes, preferences. When it's totally taken, then it indeed goes to the gods. Then the transformation is possible. Otherwise, it will be a kind of preparatory, partial transformation. There will be a lot of struggle and so on and so forth. And next, in the next verse, the verse that follows this one, Agni is reaching the level of the sun, which is the upper representative of the essence of heaven. Therefore, Agni is addressed here as seer wheel, who is like a seer. Here, the seer is the one sun. It is the eye of the gods. Bright, clear audience. He has also this bright, inspirational knowledge. That is Chitra Shravastama, the most uniting all the meanings in the inspirational knowledge. Come, O God with gods, come to us. You are now the God, and bring all your powers. Here, the ascent is completed, and there is only the beyond, that firmament beyond, which we have to again address. And that is the Yadanga Dasoshetuvam Agni Bhadram Karishyasi. Whatever the good you want to do, whatever the delight you want to give to the one who offers himself, that is that truth of yours, that beyond truth of yours, the supreme truth, the transcendental truth. And now the descent. Descent in these 4 verses, I already took this one, that truth will be coming down. We are moving to the sun. It is indicated by the change of language. You can see immediately that the whole language shifted. So from requesting modality of wanting to receive the boon from heaven to the modality of receiving the boon from heaven. There was invocation first. He is rising to heaven, and he has to bring here the gods. Here, whatever you give is that truth. We come to you to receive the truth or your blessing or your power. We, with our minds open, yes, we surrender to you. We are recipient now. We are no more calling for his action to go to heaven. We are receiving what is coming down. Rajantamadvaranam, the next one. Um, yes, wait a minute. Here, you will read this text for yourself. It is number 7. Oh, number 8. Here it is. For you are the protector of the shining truth, who is ruling the pilgrim sacrifice. Yes, and descent and the descent of the truth to the level of the space between heaven and earth, indicating the characteristic of Vayu. And finally, be easy reachable to us. I jumped over some levels. Let me read what I wrote. It was written long ago, but it is kind of interesting. The whole journey written in one way. So the whole attitude in the ascending part is basically an aspiration or request. Agni is to be sought with the duration. He must bring the gods here. This is the second verse. It is by Agni alone that realization is to be made. That third verse. Then only that pilgrim sacrifice which you embrace from all sides, take totally, goes indeed to gods. There is no other pranic attachment. And finally, come, O God, with gods, when he becomes Surya. And fifth, and the rest, whereas in the descending section, there is a change in attitude, a reverse, as it were, to the movement of surrendering to the descending force from above. Whatever bliss you want to give, that is your truth. Number 6, we come to you bringing our submission in thought. Yes, we surrender to whatever comes there. It is your truth. For you are the protector of the shining truth. This is Vayu, who is ruling the pilgrim sacrifice. Again, pilgrim sacrifice, which was taken from all the sides. Now it is he is ruling. He is growing in his own home. Yeah. And like Vardhamanam Svedame. And finally, be easily reachable to us like father to son. Lead us to the well-being. We reached Agni and the loop is made and we can start again journey. Another offering and another offering. It's like within the shell, the whole vision of all transformational process. I wrote many more things. You can look into them, but I made this scheme, which is very useful because it will really put verses into this kind of parallel levels where they are moving. And I put even colors for them to see. So Prithvi, this is the beginning. Bring here the gods, yes? Should be adored by previous and modern rishis. And then finally, Agni. In the ascending scale, it is by Agni day by day that you have to reach to realize the enjoyment of, reaches and the growth of consciousness. Now, on the descending scale, like the Father to the Son, be easily accessible to us, bring us to the felicity. So you can see the quality of Agni in both cases. So on one, he has to, it's by Agni that we have to realize the truth and the growth. And on the descending scale, it is only uh, be to us available, easily accessible to us, like father to son, and bring us, lead us, carry us to the felicity. So I find these correspondences really marvelous. So when we come to Vayu in the ascending scale, the pilgrim sacrifice Advaram is mentioned on the ascending scale and also on the descending. You will see it. So on the ascending Agneyam Yajnam Advaram Vishvatav Paribhurasi, that what you take from all sides goes to the gods. It's still to reach the gods. And here on the descending scale, Rajantam Advaranam Gopam Ritasya Divim. The same pilgrim sacrifices mentioned Advaranam. In our pilgrimage sacrifices, you are the ruling king, Rajantam, you who is shining and ruling our pilgrimage sacrifices, Gopam Ritasya, the protector of the dynamic truth, luminous Didivim, growing in one's own home. So the offering is totally taken already, and it is already transformed. And he, as the king, rules here in this space and grows in his own home. There is no more going to gods, giving and the same vocabulary. Look at this, advaram and advaram, the movement. And then when we reach the sky, the sun, there will be the same correspondence. Um, Interesting in a way. Satya Chitrashravastama. You are the true one, Kavikratu, the seer will. And come here, God with gods. And on the descending scale, Upatvagne, it is to you day by day, the illuminer of the darkness. We with a higher thought approach, bringing our surrender. Namo Bharanta Hemasi. So here, this higher ascent, descent, and the firmament on the top. As that what you or Agni want to give or to create, that bliss which you want to create for the one who surrenders, that is indeed your truth, or Angiras. And Angiras is the name of this highest divine flame. So here we are. I just wanted to show you that this was my discovery, and I was so taken by it that for years I would say there is something really miraculous going on here. It's inbuilt in the text. It's not visible until we start questioning, start digging deeper, taking into presumptions why rishis put this in this order. But especially that the structure was visible immediately from the beginning of the hymn. Um, when I saw 5 times Agni and then 4 times no Agni at the beginning. So in that sense, it just drew my attention, and so I started to think what is really happening. Let us examine. So this was the result. If you have some questions, please, you're most welcome. Observations, not necessarily questions. We can use our time for other things also, but this is in a nutshell, the whole Rig Veda, the call and the answer, step by step, and all the principles of integral yoga from the beginning. It is only by aspiration we can reach the real wealth. It is only by taking it totally into our aspiration. There is nothing left for some other purpose that can be transformed. And so these are the principles. Yes, please.
So, Vladimir, this is Prashant. I have a question or maybe a clarification that I may need. Um, so, if I draw a parallel with integral yoga, so is it similar to the involution and evolution concept that Sri Aurobindo explained, like from Satchitananda and all the other independent planes come concentrate, and then the embodied life, embodied matter, embodied life, embodied mind, and then you have a liberation, and then you go to super mind. So can we put it in the same way, or?
Well, the ascent and descent, yes, the call and the answer. Yeah, the descent is always the answer, and the call is always a flame up. Yeah, aspiration and inspiration, if you will. In the lowest sense, we speak about it as inspired. I got inspired, yeah, like some lightning flashed from above, and I feel like something descended. Aha moment. Oh, I know from somewhere it comes. Yeah, it's coming from above somewhere. Uh, and of course, evolution and involution are this ladder of evolution and involution are inbuilt into this process of calling and answering. So it is evolution and involution is taking place over billions of years. So it has to descend and to create a form, evolutionary form, and involution is always helping. That is the ladder of involution, which helps this form to evolve and to change, to grow. Yes. So they are all connected into one vision of ascent and descent, which is constantly taking place, and we are constantly doing it even without knowing it. You know, for example, you want to solve some problem, you're thinking, thinking, collecting material, and the solution is not coming. But then you go to sleep, and you see, in the night, in the dream, or like Mendeleev saw the whole table of chemistry elements in the dream, and then he put them in. This is perfect. So you got the answer. You were calling long, yeah, but you were too busy calling and were not receptive enough to receive the answer. But when he relaxed and fell asleep, he just got it. He was not calling anymore. This is happening very often with people, and Mother says also, when you come to samadhi or to meditate, come without any preconceived idea. Don't do too much there. Yeah? Because people start doing things, like, let me concentrate, I will concentrate. Om, om, om. Nothing, okay. And then he relaxes, forgets everything, boom, it's coming. Yeah. So we have to be able to receive and to invoke. Yes,
I have
somebody
a
else.
question, Vladimir. Yes. Vladimir, what is the difference between calling and pulling the divine? Like,
Right. Well, but there is a difference even in the word calling and pulling. Um, in this verse, you see also another principle. That good, that bliss which you want to give, Bhadram, that super kind of gift which you want to give to the one who surrenders to you, is your truth. This is an important. This is no pulling. Yeah, whatever comes from you, we propose, we invoke, we aspire. Whatever comes from you is the right thing for me. I accept it. It is your truth. So I don't want my truth. Please don't give me my truth. Give me yours. This is something very important. Again, another principle of integral yoga, not to pull, to invoke and to wait for the answer. Mother speaks about this also, as people come to me for blessings, especially when they marry. She says my blessing can be dangerous for them because I will, wish them only the divine truth. It will be her truth, not theirs, and it may break their family.
Jyotirmai?
Unless this is true, unless it is true. I don't want to confuse you. That it doesn't mean that every family has to be broken.
What does what does Veda say about receptivity? Like, how can one be this receiving instrument?
Here it is again. It is surrender. Receptivity is when you receive the grace. Yeah, this is the grace from above. That what descends is the grace. You have to be able to keep it and to let it work for what it was invoked. As many times when we invoke too long and then we receive the answer, we do not connect this, what we invoked for and what we received. And this, it has to work for that which it was called upon. And then we kind of misplace the grace. We treat it as, as if we are blessed or we are very special, or we become immediately arrogant. Oh, I have all the time, some kind of presence in me. So I must be very special. I'm better than them. I'm better than everyone. And I'm not using the grace, the power for the purpose I invoked. And that's what Mother says receptivity is about. Receptivity is to allow that grace which came to work and to do its work in you. And we are closing that time and we try to misuse that presence. We try to promote ourselves, to show how great we are and to earn some money on it or some points or some position or whatever, or some appreciation of others. Doesn't matter. There are many vain things which we do, and we cannot be blamed because we are not totally sincere, and there are many parts in us which are kind of joining the movement and try to benefit from this grace coming from above. So they try to hijack that grace and use it for other purposes. And that is when we are not receptive enough. That is the receptivity. To continue the same, in the same way. Nice photo, nice doggy. Right?
Sorry, Jyotirmay had a question.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi, Valdemir.
Right.
My question has two parts. First is the process of ascending and descending linear? And the second part is you talked about mental, vital, and physical. Is the for example, there are some parts which are ascending, but there's some parts which are still not able to. So then, is it? I mean, how does that process go about in this ascending and descending?
Right. It is, but it would be very nice if we could offer everything what we are to the and be carried, into a new state. But you are right. It's offering. Offering is some part in you wants to be changed. You are ready to give it. You collect it. You gather on it. You cannot give yourself totally immediately. It's not possible. But one part of you, one habit of yours, one desire, one obsession, one fear, whatever it is, especially negative things, are the best to offer because they will be changed into their opposite. So you take it and collect all your consciousness, all your power, and gather your aspiration because fire burns within you, that aspiration. Offer it to the fire, as Mother says. Mother even proposes even more radical thing. She says that we don't need to run away from obstacles. We don't need to run away from fears, obstacles, desires, even desires, which usually in any yoga, it is the you have to run, you have to kill the desire, you have to um, become to detach yourself from everything, vairagya and so on and so forth. But in a mother's yoga, as she tells us, the best way is not to run, but when it is emerging in you, take it, hold it, and put it into the light of your highest consciousness, and hold it there. And she says it can be quite painful. You may fry a bit. You could feel, and you will see that this desire or this thing which you try to offer will try to escape. It will try to find some kind of excuse, something in the mind. Yeah, no, I have to do something else, or I have to go somewhere suddenly. You will see that so many urgent things will appear to do because that thing want to escape that kind of look, or that look of the higher consciousness on it. Yeah? But the moment you see it, truly see it, that is kavikratuh, yes, the seer will. Once it is sees, then it is done. Yeah? And there is no more problem with that thing. It will lose its power, light, darkness, and will transform into something else. She speaks also to offer it as if oblation into the fire, put it into the fire. Sri Aurobindo also speaks into the flame, into your inner aspiration. You can offer everything into this flame, aspire to change, and then offer it. It has to be offered higher and higher. It has to be put into the higher light of this kavikrotu, and then you will have the response from above. And then it will be done. One part in you will change. Unless, of course, you will call again that habit of yours, yes, back. Because you would feel like you are missing some good friend with whom you were fighting all your life. We love our obstacles, and we love all those because they give us self-identity. Yes, we know ourselves as fighting with some cause. And now there is nothing to fight. What to do? So you need something to fight with. I'm joking, but that is very true. But there's many times Mother says she saved people in ashram from many things, but then she says they call it again. They can't be without it. But if you are determined to change, step by step, if it is your program, if it is your meaning, then you can grow. Then you take next and next and next part of yourself and offer, and consciousness will grow and you will change. This is the Vedic yoga, and I think it is integral yoga at the same time.
Yeah, and Veronica has a question.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
So I just wanted to understand this a little better. That one offers up some part of oneself that one wants to change, and the fire, in the fire, it gets purified and converted, becomes the opposite. In a talk by Matthias G, I think Neil Chetty, they had said that you don't have to worry about that again once you make the offering and it's accepted. But then why does it happen again in that case? Is the offering not really pure?
Right. It's a tough question for psychologists. Why it is one answer is that we are calling it back. Something in us deeply rooted, used to this particular guests, yeah, these kind of cherished guests. They are always knocking on the door, and they know these secret, cracks in our house, and they know how to come in without being noticed. And we somehow, something in our being likes it for some reason and wants it secretly from our central will. But if you go deeper into that, into those dark corners, you will find there part of yourself which actually calls to it and wants it. And that's why we have it. Yeah, if that is changed, that corner, that being, yes, if that being is offered, as Sri Aurobindo even describes in Savitri in a very dramatic way, the bleeding roots he pulled of the desire, pulled the bleeding roots of the desire and offered the vacant space to the gods. Now just think about it. The vacant space from those bleeding roots of desire he offered to the gods. Then only most probably it will not come. But otherwise, of course, those roots will produce many more plants and leaves and fruits if you let them be
But,
and
but
grow through.
that's a metaphor, but what rather an analogy. What happens, if you think of something practical like, say, anger, suppose you want to get rid of anger, or jealousy, or any fear. I mean, even if you offer it up, fear is not just one thing that is going to go away, right? There are fears about so many different things, the anxieties about so many different things. So it's a continuous process, that means, is it not?
Yeah, I agree with you. It's not a simple what Sri Aurobindo describes is a solution, but who can do really that?
Exactly.
How many of us can really, pull the roots of bleeding desire and offer the space to the gods? Who has a contact with the gods, first of all, and who has a consciousness to go deep into the subconscious and find those roots to pull? So definitely for the layman who wants to improve his functionality, it is not, yeah, we cannot suggest that. Yeah, definitely. But there is a way to call for grace. And if we are sincere enough, again, the problem with sincerity, because I call for grace. Okay, so so I have to be in a state of real want. As Mother says, you really have to want first. If you don't want, and you are doing it because it is good, it's everybody should do it, then it's not going to happen. You really have to have a need of it, this call, this flame, aspiration, and then there will be answer. Definitely will be. And then the answer will do something, and you will see something, some possibilities of change. Everyone is uniquely built and has a unique way of going through his own nitty-gritties. And that one cannot really predict and know. It's a very subjective work. Um, but if there is a need, if I always was wondering when I watch movies, people, for example, in criminal settings, people are tight together. They did something and they cannot go from each other. They are going together all the time, killing each other, beating each other. I thought, why this person cannot really switch off and change his life? Switch off his mind, that criminal mind, and become somebody else. He has all the instruments to do that, but he is not capable of, because he's tight. All those, strings attached. They are ruling him for a long time. Now, how can he cut those strings and become who he really is? He doesn't know who he is. He's like a marionette in the hands of those forces.
Puppet.
Yeah, puppet. And we are all puppets in the hands of many forces. You can see what is happening to us. We have particular thoughts coming to us, visiting us, particular desires, preferences, likings, dislikings, and so on and so forth. And we consider this to be ourselves. It is me unique. Yeah, there is nothing unique in it. We are not yet ourselves. We have to take all that luggage and offer it for transformation. Then we will be ourselves once it is transformed. So Mother says, don't run away from it. Don't try to get rid of it, to not to see it, because it is not helpful. But offer it to the highest consciousness and light in you and hold it there until it is really changing. This is this transformative process. We can say highest consciousness in you, whoever has whatever level, yes? But if he really wants to change, he may do it. And he will be guided by the grace from above, how to discover that. There will be step by step. He is Ritvik. He is the one who knows how to do it in time, how to do it on lower level, on middle level, on any level, advanced level. He will apply forces and wisdom and knowledge to the level on what we are. So there is no problem with that. But we have to do it. Want and to do, to offer. Remember and offer. Offer. Yeah, it looks like mechanical. No, don't do it mechanical. Do it with sincerity. Do it with real need. Because mechanical offering is, it's killing the whole process. It becomes very dry, like ritual. It doesn't have the substance anymore. Oh, I did my offering. Okay, finish. Let me go. It's like people go to church and put these, candlesticks, or go for confessions. Oh, I confessed for my sins for this week. Now I am ready to sin again. And then again back to confession. So it doesn't help. We need to do it really, truly. And then it works. How many of us want to do it truly?
Manan?
We want to do it, but truly, let us see. Okay.
Namaste, Vladimir. Thank you so much for the amazing session. I don't know how much I could grasp really, but I'm looking forward to the document. My question is uh, from the talk of Dr. Anuradha. She was talking about dharma, and it has three components: Satyam, Ritam, and Ghritam. And
Brihat.
okay, so you also mentioned in the beginning, if I recall it right, I was trying to take notes, but it was too fast for me. So you mentioned Ritvijam and Hotaram and something else after that. I couldn't note it down. Could you talk
Ratnadhatamam.
a bit about these three things, the components of dharma?
Yeah. What is dharma? What is dharma according to you?
The eternal truth. For me, my swadharma would be rooted in my swabhava, and that's what I'm trying to discover. But it seems to me that the soul somehow knows what it is. I'm trying to. My aspiration is to connect to that. I don't quite know. I don't have an answer.
Right. Well, swabhava, swadharma, yes, it's swadharma, yes. And what is dharma for you? I mean, how do you understand dharma when we speak about dharma? What is this? What does it do, really? You say it is truth. Truth is the satyam, ritam. Dharma is something else. It's a fundamental question of psychology.
Is it divine will?
Or is it
Divine will.
The
Huh?
true nature, like Agni can go only upwards. Uh,
Right. Dharma. Yeah. It is from root dhri, to hold. It is something which is established for the sake of our evolution. We are all species here. We are all the embodied beings, sparks of that fire. But there are laws of existence. In the Veda, the dharmas are also there. Dharmani, many dharmas. There are kind of, how to say, typal arrangements of forces which help us to grow in consciousness and to evolve in the form. So these evolutionary forms, they are kind of fixed. They are holding a particular manner of behavior or particular way of being. For example, if you look at the animals, you will see that they are following their dharma, like cats. Yeah, and there is nothing wrong about it. And they can eat the mice, but that is their dharma, and you cannot blame them for that. Poor mice, you were killed by cat. Or so dharma is something which is typal, from the typal realm, established for us as like a ladder which we can climb in evolutionary process. On each level, we have a particular arrangement or order of things where things naturally can evolve. What is adharma? Adharma is the misplacement of dharma, when the unnatural position is appearing. And this unnatural position, which is not allowing us to evolve, calls for desire. Now, if you think about it, it's a profound kind of idea that adharma is that which requires the desire, because we cannot manage evolutionary, simply evolve and grow in consciousness. So Mother speaks that every desire is actually a fancy world. We are fancying things. We are misplacing things but at will. I take this in a wrong way and see how it happens. Oh, and it attracts me in one particular way, that I am kind of the master of my own behavior, of my own surrounding. The whole criminal world is built on this. Yeah, I egoistically, I claim to be right. Incredible. And that calls for the desire, because I am not evolving properly. I am just egoistically claiming my position, not naturally. It's unnatural development. Yeah, it's amazing what dharma. If we think about dharma and adharma, but Bhishma at the end of his Bhishma Parva in Mahabharata, when he was ready to die, asks the question, I know what is dharma, I know what is adharma, but I don't understand why adharma is attracting me, not dharma. And there is a big, profound question here. Why adharma is attracting us? Why we are so fascinated with this freedom? Look at the Western freedom. Everybody is free, freedom of desires, freedom of thoughts, freedom of self-expressions. Why it is attracting us? And it is attracting us. Nobody will say, no, it doesn't attract me. I want orderly fashion growing naturally. No, we want to experiment with the world, with ourselves. We want to know ourselves. And we have the inherent freedom. We have something in us which is given to us by default, the freedom. And we want to exercise this freedom to the most wildest and vastest extent. We want to be free in every way. And this is the divine truth. But we are not yet there. That's why it all turns into these desires and pitfalls and so on. Mother says, if you look at how people use their desires, their passions, desires, you will see that they want more and more and more, and can't be satiated. You can see that behind it there is a divine truth, because only the divine truth has no limit. So it's a very complex, very beautiful image if you look at it. So everything is related to the truth and freedom and enjoyment. Enjoyment is our inborn right. Enjoyment and freedom. Happiness and freedom. Nobody should claim these two from us. No society, no, there are so many societies which claim this from you.
Swapnika?
So, sorry, Prashant. So, in a way, adharma is whatever comes in the way of evolution, conscious evolution in integral yoga.
Right. And it is also necessary, as you know, as you understand now, that adharma is showing us how not to proceed, how not to go to that point where we should go, because adharma tells us about that point where we should go, total freedom in every way, but not in this setting, not in this particular, on this particular level of consciousness, and not with those instruments, in ignorance and darkness.
Sure.
All right.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Swapnika?
Yeah. Thank you, Admir. My question is, we sometimes use light and we are also using fire, and both of them have their source in the sun. Like, how are we using light and Agni, both having their source in the sun? Are we using in a similar sense, or are we, how, I think I'm...
I understand. Yes, you can separate them. You can say that sun is the Agni, the essence of heaven, and say that Agni is the essence of earth, as Chandogya does for us, because our mind has to contrast things. Otherwise, everything is the same. Everywhere light, above, below, in between. That's what Sri Aurobindo says. Rig Veda is difficult for the modern mind who needs, kind of definitions and shadows, like and black and white. And when it is like shining there, shining here, shining everywhere, and different ways of shining, different words are used, that our mind is not really totally perceiving. And it is very true. That's why Rig Veda was never translated properly. Mm, But if you start distinguishing different ways of shining, different ways of flaming, these are all very functional terms in the Rig Veda, very psychological. You will see that we are translating them into English and it sounds the same, but in the Rig Veda, in the text, you will find it is quite different. And the choice of the Rishi is very particular. Every word is precisely what it should be. And one more thing I want to tell about this is that Agni is actually the Lord growing within. Yeah? It is He, the future Lord of creation. It is He, the Supreme, who is here bringing down all these devatas, all these divine forces. He grows Himself by that. And He grows in His own home, Vardhamanam Svedame. And He occupies the whole universe. That means His power and consciousness will be working together because He has both within Himself, power, force, and light of consciousness. And Surya is one of those manifestations of this Agni, only it acts from above as answer to our call from below. Yes, but it is the same Lord in two positions. Yeah? If we could say that the fire growing from below is Rudra's son, Rudra is holding on his shoulders the whole nature, the whole universe, and his son is flaming out, his action is Agni, then the Indra's action from above is Vishnu from above. Yeah? And Rudra and Vishnu, two of them, yeah, are united here by Brahmanaspati coming from within, from the heart. So these three sources of one deity, named as Vishnu, Rudra, and Brahma, come together and complete the action. So where is that difference of light and now after this? You were asking how different it is, the light from above and light from below. It is actually the same light, only it is functioning for particular purpose of manifesting itself, the divine, within this time and frame, in manifestation, in the darkness, in the night.
Mhm.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
We are speaking symbolic language, yes, and there is no other way to speak about these things, because how else would we speak? We operate with language which operates with the objects. So we need these symbols, as Sri Aurobindo says. Without symbols, how would you explain to the mind which is on the surface things which are not on the surface?
Okay. Vladimir, I have a question, maybe the last one since there is no more hands.
Very good.
So you did mention that we have to have that true seeking, true aspiration, not a forceful one, and it should come from the need to, to realize the truth. Many times I find it very difficult to. I completely accept that I don't have that true aspiration, or many times I don't find it the true need. And of course, if we have that need, we will obviously progress. In Vedas, does it anywhere tell that how to nurture that true need and bring it forward?
Right. It has to be kindled. The fire is to be kindled. It's not a simple thing to have aspiration. It looks like very simple. We speak in a simple way, but you are right. It's not simple to have it. Yeah, it's that fire is extinguished already for a long time. The only desires are motivators, and there is a difference between aspiration and desire. We spoke most probably about it. So the desire is always urgent, yeah, always you must do it. You right now, you have to get it. Aspiration doesn't have that. It is very calm. It doesn't require immediate result. It doesn't look for the result. It is happy to be aspiring. It is happy to burn, to flame. It gives you another perception of life. It's very calm and very focused. You see better things with flame within, and you receive constantly the answer. Because every time you put something into that fire, it will be answered. You will get the right answer. So it is the knowledge, knowing which everything is known, mm, because that is the process. Knowledge is always authentic, always real, true to the moment of time. It is not some prescription in the book which you read and remember and apply. It is always revealed to you in a new fashion. So how to get that knowledge? You must have that call and get the knowledge. Call and receive. And then you know. Only then, not before. Before we are just reading instructions, and trying to apply them with desire, which leads nowhere really, or somewhere astray, long way. But the kindling of the fire is taking place, and Mother also speaks about it. She says actually that the aspiration in your heart is kindled by the divine in you, not by you actually. So you have to do few things for that to happen. You have to be sincere. You have to be humble, which is quite difficult for some people. They can play humbleness, yes, because it's fashionable. And you have to have gratitude for the divine exists. That means it's already a lot, these three, and you have to persevere in it, not to leave gaps in between. And then you will be given this, the divine will come and kindle the fire within your heart, that you will be constantly aspiring for the divine. But without sincerity, without being sincere, really, without being surrendering, humble, recognizing that the divine is everything, and you with your responsibilities, with your thoughts, is just nothing, and having gratitude for the divine presence in you, then it leads you to the aspiration. Otherwise, yeah, we learn things. Yeah.
Vinati had a question.
Yes, Vladimir, you said that our fire is extinguished now. What about the little children? They have the fire, I think, still burning. How to, I mean, it meant to be extinguished or it can be nurtured? How to do it?
Yes, it's a profound question about integral education, and Mirambika also lovely. Yes, how to grow without losing the contact with your psychic being as Mother wanted. Yeah, how to build such a society where this would be welcome and not just imposition of instructions and wisdoms of the older people who are totally without any means of discovering themselves. Yeah, so they will give you the wisdom of survivor, and you will be surviving all your life, earning money and surviving, paying bills. Yeah, children should grow if they are not, and we are teaching them constantly how not to rely on that fire, how not to know that themselves. It's all our wisdom is built on this, unfortunately, all our education. There is one person, maybe you know him, Manish. He has this multiversity in Gujarat. I visited his centers and we became good friends. His major purpose in education is how to unlearn what we learned. This is his major approach. We must unlearn what we learned because we learned it wrong way. Well, it's too late to unlearn, but we may relearn, deconstruct things and use those elements which we learned to build up a true connection with ourselves. In children especially, we have to protect them. We have to really protect and nurture them and let them grow instead of growing them. We are not patient enough. We are not knowledgeable enough. We are not in contact with ourselves enough to really allow them to do it. Yeah. But there are teachers. There is Mirambika. There are few teachers in the world who are trying to do that. Also, ashram school. There are few teachers there. Great teachers. In Auroville, there are few. Yes, there is. That's it. Yes, for there are more questions. I don't see any hands. Yeah?
There is, I think, another one. Rupali had a question.
Hi, thank you. I wanted to ask a question. I've asked this before to Mataiji also. My case, I have realized that that suffering or being in suffering for a long period of time, it it deepens my aspiration towards finding happiness much more compared to whenever there is no suffering or there's nothing that is twitching me from inside. So sometimes I am really thankful when I'm in a not in such a happy place, as in I don't know. And Mataiji told me that in perseverance that you've said, uh, but as of now I prefer that compared to being just happy and just going on with life. So I just wanted to ask you, is it okay, or it means that I need to change it? How do I do that?
Right. You see these elements, what I mentioned, sincerity, humility, gratitude, they are towards the divine, not towards some people or some, yourself, self-gratification or some kind of love yourself, as people usually say, psychologists, many nowadays. You have to love yourself. How can I love this self? What is there to really love? There's not much to love there. If I look at it without the divine influence or presence, it's very boring, very small being. Maybe we should love it in some way, I do not know, in the divine way. But what I wanted, maybe, I do not know, our time is coming to the end, yes, or something. I may wanted to show you some. We created film which is called Gratitude. We create films like on sincerity, on humility, and now on gratitude. Very short, like 6 minutes or something. If I project, I want us to see, and it may be the answer to your question, because it is inbuilt in our consciousness in a way. It's a very simple film. It's only Mother's quotations and Sri Aurobindo, but the visuals and music, everything together, I'm very proud of it. Anyhow, so if I
Yeah, Vladimir, are you on Mac?
you will find this Art Studio 12 Qualities. It's called 12qualities.com. It is totally different perception of oneself and the world. We have to arrive at it. We can't really be what we are. This is such a misery. We need much more. We are capable of much more. I hope. It's already night for you. Oh God, for me it's 12 o'clock. My God, it's so late. Sorry to keep you being. You have to go to bed already, and
it's just a pleasure and such a treat. Today's session was so amazing. I mean,
yeah,
thank you very much. Thank you for being here and accepting all our requests and bearing with our tool.
No.
So
I know. IPI is my favorite in the world. So wonderful. Great. So namaste. All the best then.
we'll end with a minute of silence.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you, Vladimir.